They put me in a nursing home, my own kids, promising it was just for a while, then jetted off on a family vacation to Hawaii, posting sun-soaked photos on Facebook while I sat alone in a sterile room, staring at a wall of faded floral wallpaper. At 63, I'd spent 40 years raising them, cooking their meals, mending their clothes, cheering their wins, only to be dumped like an old coat, my phone silent as their laughter echoed online. A betrayal I discovered when a nurse showed me their Aloha update. They didn't even call, just left a note. "We'll visit soon, Mom," while I clutched a cold cup of tea, abandoned by the family I'd built. It's a crisp October afternoon in 1984, the air sharp with the scent of fallen leaves and chimney smoke. And I'm 23, standing in a tiny kitchen in our starter home, a clapboard shack with a leaky roof and a yard choked with weeds, stirring a pot of mac and cheese as my firstborn, Tommy, toddles around my legs, his sticky hands tugging at my faded apron, his giggles bouncing off peeling linoleum walls. His dad, Rick, and I had married young, too young, barely 19, high school sweethearts swept up in a rush of hormones and naive dreams. Him a welder with a quick temper and rough hands, me a bank teller counting pennies in a booth that smelled of stale coffee and desperation. Building a life on love and not much else. Lisa came in 87, a surprise born during a thunderstorm that rattled our windows, her wails blending with the rain. Then Bobby in 90, 3 kids by 27, a whirlwind of diapers, tantrums, and tender moments that kept me going. Rick walked out in 93, leaving a note on the kitchen table. "Can't handle it, sorry." And a half-empty closet, his welding helmet gone, the door slamming shut on 8 years as I stood there, Tommy clinging to my knee, Lisa sobbing in her crib, Bobby asleep upstairs, my world shrinking to a sagging rental we'd moved to when the house went to foreclosure. I fought for them with every fiber, worked double shifts at the bank, my blouse wrinkled from late-night hours, my sneakers squeaking as I balanced trays of deposit slips and dodged grumpy customers, my hands trembling as I counted change for formula and rent. Nights, I'd sew their clothes from thrift store finds, Tommy's patched jeans, Lisa's frilly dresses, Bobby's little vests, my fingers pricked raw by a hand-me-down singer humming under a flickering bulb, their snores a soundtrack to my exhaustion. My eyes burning, but fixed on their faces, those tiny grins my fuel through the dark. We survived on casseroles stretched with extra noodles, coupons clipped from the Sunday paper, a TV with rabbit ears flickering cartoons. But I made it theirs. Baked their birthday cakes. Chocolate for Tommy with thick fudge, vanilla for Lisa with sprinkles, lemon for Bobby with a zing he loved. Pushed them on a rusty swing at the park till my arms ached, my voice raw from cheering at their Little League games and school recitals, Tommy's home runs, Lisa's solos, Bobby's shy bows lighting up my days like fireworks on a cloudy night. By 99, I'd clawed my way up, years of night classes for a paralegal cert, textbooks propped on a wobbly card table, coffee cold by 2 a.m. as I studied between their homework, saving every dime to buy us a little ranch house, its chipped shutters and creaky porch a badge of my grit. A home I painted yellow inside to match their sunshine smiles. They were my world, Tommy's stubborn streak that mirrored Rick's, Lisa's sharp wit that cut through any room, Bobby's quiet heart that softened mine, and I thought that love was a chain, forged strong from 40 years of just us against the grind, a bond no one could break. My heart swelling with every mom, they shouted as they raced through my door. They grew up quick, too quick, their childhoods slipping through my fingers like sand I couldn't hold. Tommy turned into a mechanic like his dad, tall, brooding, grease under his nails, moving out at 22 to a bachelor pad with a sagging couch and a fridge full of beer. Lisa bloomed into a teacher, fierce, with a laugh that rang like bells, settling at 24 into a condo with bookshelves and chalk dust on her sleeves. Bobby, my baby, became a chef, shy, with a smile that crept up slow, leaving at 21 for a studio near his restaurant, his apron stained with sauce. I stood in my ranch house, waving as they drove off, Tommy in his beat-up Chevy, Lisa in her Prius, Bobby on his bike, proud but hollow, the silence creeping in without their chaos, their sneakers no longer thudding on my hardwood, their radios no longer blaring through the walls. I'd visit, arms full of Tupperware, pot roast steaming, cookies still warm, watching them build their lives, my heart aching with every mile they stretched from me. Grandkids came, Tommy's twins, Mia and Max, in 12, 2 bundles of energy with his brown eyes. Lisa's Sophie in 15, a spitfire with her mom's curls, filling my weekends with cookie dough smeared on my counters, crayons scattering across my rug, their giggles a balm on the quiet that had settled like dust. I'd host Sunday dinners, pot roast steaming, their favorite, the kitchen thick with gravy and chatter. Mark, Lisa's husband, carving the meat with a grin. Tommy teasing Bobby about his latest sauce. The kids tumbling over my faded shag rug like puppies, their sticky hands tugging my sleeves as I poured lemonade. We weren't flush. My paralegal gig for a local law firm stretched thin as a worn thread. My pension looming but lean. But we were family, tied tight by sticky hugs, bedtime stories I'd read till my voice cracked, and a love I'd poured 40 years into, or so I believed, my chest swelling with every nana. They squealed as they ran to me, their little arms wrapping around my legs, my ranch house alive again with their light. The first crack in that bond slipped in 2 years ago, soft as a whisper on a fall breeze, so faint I barely noticed, till it grew thorns. It was late September, leaves piling in my yard like a carpet of golden rust, when Tommy started pulling back, slowly, like a tide easing out before a storm. Our weekly calls, him griping about shop drama over coffee, his voice rumbling through my kitchen, dwindled to monthly, then rare as a blue moon. His texts short and sharp. "Busy with the twins? Catch you later, Mom." Lisa followed suit. Sunday dinners skipped, her voice clipped over the phone. "School's nuts. Grading papers? Sorry, Mom." Bobby, too, his soft tone fading. "Restaurant slammed. New menu, no time." They'd dodge visits. Thanksgiving, where I'd set 5 plates at my oak table. The one where I'd helped them with spelling. Watching the turkey dry out by 8 p.m., the stuffing cold as I waited, my fork tracing circles in the gravy. Christmas, where their stockings hung empty by my thrift store tree, its lights flickering like my hope, the kids' gifts, wrapped in paper I'd picked with care, unopened under drooping branches. "Work's crazy," they'd say, their kids' chatter in the background growing faint, a sound I clung to like a lifeline slipping away. I'd send cookies, oatmeal raisin, their childhood love, packed in tins with a note, "Love, Mom." But thanks came late, curt as a memo. "Got 'em, Mom. Kids say hi." I'd sit on my creaky porch swing, tea cold in my chipped mug, the one Sophie painted with wobbly hearts, missing their noise, the way Mia'd tug my hair, Max's sticky fingers in my apron, Bobby's quiet, "Thanks, Mom," as he hugged me goodbye, blaming myself. Am I too much? Did I lean too hard? After 40 years raising them alone, you don't suspect abandonment over a missed call. You worry, you wait, you bake more, praying their laughter would spill through my door again. The silence, a weight pressing on my chest like a stone
Last
couldn't
spring,
shift. The rift sharpened, raw and cold as a blade slicing through fabric I'd spent decades weaving. It was April, rain tapping my roof like a restless finger, the lilacs blooming purple outside my kitchen window, when Tommy called, voice tight, rehearsed. Mom, we're worried. Your hip's bad. Those stairs are a risk. Maybe a home's best, just for a bit till you're steady. My hip twinged from a fall on the ice last winter, a bruise I'd nursed with ibuprofen and grit, stairs I'd climbed 20 years with groceries and kids in tow. Suddenly a crisis? I'm fine, Tommy. I manage, I said, stirring gravy for a pot roast I'd planned for them, the spoon clinking too loud in the quiet, my voice steady despite the ache in my chest. Lisa chimed in, sharp on speaker. Mom, you're slowing down. We can't keep checking in, running over every time you stumble. Bobby's soft tone followed, hesitant but firm. It's safer, Mom. Think of it like a break for us too. Safer. Me, who'd raised them through fevers and fights, who'd patched their knees and their hearts. My chest tightened. A break for them? But they pushed, relentless as a tide. Tours of Sunset Pines booked without my say, brochures piling on my table. Senior living, active community, their voices overlapping with promises. Temporary, Mom. Just till you're back on your feet, we swear. I fought, voice shaking, hands gripping the counter. This is my home. 40 years. My life. But they wore me down, guilt heavy as lead. For us, Mom, please, we're stretched thin. I caved, tears burning my eyes, packing my quilts, my photos, my life into boxes, Tommy hauling them to his truck, Lisa folding my clothes with brisk efficiency, Bobby quiet as he carried my rocking chair, his eyes avoiding mine. June 10th, they moved me. My ranch house emptied, its yellow walls bare, keys handed to a realtor as they drove me to Pines, a room waiting with faded floral wallpaper, a twin bed smelling of bleach, a window overlooking a parking lot instead of my lilacs. We'll visit soon. Love you, Mom, they said, hugging me stiffly. Tommy's grip quick, Lisa's perfunctory, Bobby's lingering but silent, then peeling out in their cars, taillights fading as I clutched a cold cup of tea, the hum of a fluorescent light my only company, my home gone, my kids slipping away, the sterile quiet swallowing me whole. The real blow landed last month, a humid September day that still haunts me like a wound I can't stitch shut. I was in my room, TV droning Wheel of Fortune in the corner, Pat Sajak's voice a dull hum against the antiseptic air. Shuffling cards for a solitaire game I didn't care to win, my slippers scuffing the linoleum, when Nurse Jenny, kind but chatty, her ponytail bouncing, scrolled her phone by my door. Your kids in Hawaii, Diane? Look at this. Aloha from Maui. Posted yesterday. My heart stopped. Hawaii? My mug slipping from my hand, tea splashing my slippers, soaking the rug as she turned the screen. Facebook open, Tommy, Lisa, Bobby, their spouses, the kids. Sun-soaked, grinning by a turquoise beach, leis draped around their necks, sand dusting their toes. Captioned, Family vacay, paradise found. Dated a week after they dumped me. 7 days since I'd sat in this room, unpacking a life they'd boxed up, their note by my bed. We'll visit soon, Mom. Love ya. Mocking me in their cursive scrawl. I clicked, hands trembling, breath caught, photo after photo. Tommy hoisting Max on his shoulders, Lisa laughing with Sophie in a hammock, Bobby sipping a coconut drink with Mia, their spouses clinking glasses, the kids building castles. Living our best life, tagged with heart emojis. 40 years, cooking their dinners, mending their tears, loving them through every scraped knee and broken dream. And they jetted off to paradise, my phone silent. No, miss you, Mom. No, wish you were here. Just their laughter echoing online, a taunt I couldn't unsee. I sat there, wallpaper blurring through tears. The TV's buzz a drone in my ears. Abandoned. My ranch house sold behind my back. My kids gone on a trip I'd never dreamed of. They're temporary, a lie. My love a discard they'd traded for sand and sun. Then came the twist that flipped the script, bright and fierce as a flare in the night. A week later, my old friend Pat, paralegal co-worker with a nose for secrets, called at dawn, her voice hushed over the line like she'd struck gold. "Diane, just checked your files. Your house sold, $400,000, split 3 ways. But your trust, $300,000 from Rick's life insurance, set up in '94 after he left. Your name only, untouched, locked tight. They don't know. Think it's gone. Been blowing their cut on that trip." I laughed, wild, ragged, a sound that bounced off my sterile walls, rattling the teacup on my tray, the faded flowers trembling with me. "You're sure?" I pressed, gripping the phone till my knuckles whitened, my pulse racing like it hadn't in years. "Dead sure," Pat said, a grin creeping into her voice. "You're set. They're clueless, whining about tight budgets to my buddy at the bank." I hung up, fire surging through me like a wildfire. They ditched me, shelved me, danced on a beach while I rotted here. But I held a power they couldn't touch, a fortune they didn't know I owned. I called my lawyer that morning, voice steady as steel though my hands shook with the weight of it. "They want me gone?" "Fine, I'm taking back everything, and they're not getting a penny till I say so." I hired Ellen, top estate shark in town, a widow like me who lived for justice, her office a war room of files and fight, the air thick with coffee and determination. She dug in like a bloodhound, and the dirt spilled out in a flood. The ranch house sale, $400,000, split 3 ways, Tommy, Lisa, Bobby each pocketing $133,000, blown on Hawaii, flights, resorts, luau's, while my trust sat untouched. $300,000 accruing interest since '94. Rick's one decent act locked in my name alone, a secret they'd never sniffed out. Ellen traced their spending, Tommy's new truck, Lisa's designer bags, Bobby's restaurant upgrade, all from my home, my sweat, my years, while they'd lied about temporary, planning Pines as permanent, their texts to each other. Ellen hacked legally, bragging, "Mom's set, won't miss us." She froze their joint accounts, my stake as co-signer on old loans, my say. Filed a claim for my trust, slashed through their greed with a pen sharper than their betrayal. They didn't see it coming. Thought they'd shelved me with, "We'll visit." Thought they'd silenced me with a note, their vacation of victory I'd never challenge. Tommy called 2 days later, roaring over the line, his voice a storm breaking. "Mom, what the hell? You can't freeze our money. This is our life." I stepped to my window, overlooking the parking lot, the air stale but mine, cool as ice despite the tremble in my hands. The hum of Pine's hallway fading as I gripped the sill. "My money too, Tommy. $300,000 you'll never touch without my say. Enjoy Hawaii. Hope the sun was worth it. 'Cause it's all you're getting from me now." He sputtered, voice cracking, his mechanic's bravado peeling away. "You're crazy, Mom. Lisa's pissed. Bobby's freaking. We need that cash." "You needed me," I shot back, low and lethal, my eyes fixed on the horizon beyond the lot. "Where's Mia? Max? Sophie? Where's the mom you dumped?" Silence, then a click, his breath gone, the line dead, his bluster folding like a cheap tent. Lisa tried next, shrill. "Mom, undo this! You're ruining us!" Bobby followed, soft, pleading. "Mom, please! We didn't mean it!" I hung up, first time ever, their voices bouncing off me, Ellen's words in my ear. "They're broke, Diane. You're free." Word spread through town like wildfire. Pat whispering at the diner, neighbors at the grocery. "They ditched her. Hawaii while she sat in Pines. Trust flipped it." Ellen's evidence hit their inboxes. Sale docs, trust papers, my claim. Tommy reeling, Lisa raging, Bobby quiet as their accounts dried up, their tan lines fading with their excuses. I checked out of Pines, bags packed, a goodbye Jenny to the nurse, cashed my trust, bought a beach condo in Florida, its white walls a fresh start. The waves rush, drowning out there, we'll visit lies. Took myself to Paris with the leftovers, croissants warm in my hands, the Eiffel Tower glowing gold, healing in every bite, every step along the Seine. They're out there, Tommy, Lisa, Bobby, maybe tanned, maybe broke, maybe scrambling as their paradise crumbles, their kids asking, "Where's Nana?" with no answer. It hurt. 40 years don't fade without a fight. Mia's hugs, Max's giggles, Sophie's curls still vivid in my dreams, my ranch house a ghost I can't shake. But I wasn't their discard, wasn't the burden they'd shelved. I was Diane, 63 and fierce, sipping coffee by the ocean, starting over with a heart too scarred to break again, but too strong to bow. They thought they'd crate me away, dance on a beach while I faded, but I flew free. Louder, bolder, undeniable, my love a force they couldn't bury, my life a victory they couldn't steal. So here I am, months later, watching the waves from my condo, wondering what's next. They're out there, Tommy, Lisa, Bobby, maybe home, maybe plotting. I'm strong, but scarred. Some nights I wonder, did I win or just escape? Could they call, begging forgiveness? And if they did, would I answer or let it ring? I don't know yet, and maybe that's okay. What do you think? Should a woman like me ever look back? Or is this where I keep flying? No regrets? Tell me your take.